Hello friends, my good friend Fred asked me to take care of his lens, and this lens has some oil on the aperture blades. The lens is a 50mm 1.8 pancake, and I took a look at the channel and I realized that I have done like almost everything that is possible to do with a 50mm, and then I have never done the cleaning of the oil aperture blades of this lens. So today is the day we're going to do it. I'm going to show you how it is done, so if you have this problem you can fix it without any trouble. So we're going to disassemble the lens. That will be extremely simple. First thing, you will need to remove this beauty ring that I got partially loose, and then to do so you can use this kind of tool, which is a rubber cone. You can find them on the video description. They come in a set like this, and you can do almost everything regarding a lens with these guys. So you need to apply some force, and after that you will get a grip and you will be able to rotate it. And I was hoping to do it with my finger. Okay. Second finger seems to have more grip. Okay, here you go, beauty ring out. And you will find yourself with this and 6 screws. There are a few of them which are slightly higher. I can show you that. Yeah, you see, this one is deep, and then this one is slightly raised. And what's going on is that the 3 that are slightly raised, we're going to remove. And with those 3 screws removed, we can take out this front element, and we can see it is a bit oily. So what probably happened is that Fred left the lens inside his car during the summer or whatever, and you got a bit of the oil which goes into the helical grease, who migrated a bit everywhere around the lens. Part of it ended up on the diaphragm, not a lot, but still Fred told me he was losing a third or 2/3 of stop of overexposure due to this slight amount of oil. So even the slightest amount of oil can affect your images by slowing the opening and closing of the diaphragm. Okay, so far so good. We have this. We know we have to clean that. Then we will remove the further these 3 screws. We will put them aside regarding the ones we removed before, and the reason is that they are slightly different. They are shorter, so pay attention to that when reassembling the lens. So the long ones that you see here, this long one is the one we removed first, and the short ones are the ones we just removed. And with that screw gun, we can simply just pull the front element, which is in good condition besides the little traces of oil. So I'm going to put it side on a support, so I don't have the lenses touching anything. And then here you go, we have reached the diaphragm. So it's the first time I see something like this. Most diaphragms, yeah, they are different, they don't have this little mechanism. We'll figure out what they're doing, and just to make sure of what is going on, I will make two pictures so to know the positions. So first position is entirely closed, this is the picture, and then second position entirely open, and then we will know the positions of this little cam, so we don't lose it for whatever reason. Okay, so far so good. Now we will start disassembling the diaphragm, and to do so we'll need tweezers, something sharp, because we want to take out this little spring. Which removes entirely, and then with that we are going to unscrew these guys here, which are glued. Okay, the screws are really big, so we cannot mix them with the others. Okay, here you go. And then this is something interesting, and this is why the elements had some glue, is because below the screw head you can see a large opening, and this is just to allow adjustment of the diaphragm. So you can see I'm moving this position and the thing is opening and closing slightly, and afterwards when we're going to put it back, what we're going to do is just to make sure that when we are marked wide open 1.8 here, we'll have exactly the blades which are just tangent to this circle here, so we'll know we have a good alignment. Okay, so far so good. Now we can remove this element here, which is loose, and this is exactly what we wanted. Okay, I'm being careful here because it's the first time I am doing the diaphragm of this lens. Okay, we got the whole thing out, and then here we can see the mechanism, we can see what the cam is doing. So when we move this element here, which happens to be the aperture blade, the one connecting to the back here, to the ring here. Okay, maybe just let me dezoom, take over again. So we have this little rod which is moving this cam, and the cam is moving the element here. and this is actuated by this rod we have here, which it is itself actuated by this ring here. Then you see when I move the ring, you have this element here which is moving. Okay, so this is it, and we can disassemble this element. Just need to figure out how. My guess is that it is clipped and glued. Okay, yeah. It is just clipped inside. So we need to pay attention to the position, but then we made the photo before, and then the cam opening goes here on the curved part. Now we are here, and then well, you have the video just to follow if you get in trouble. So the second element, and okay, pay attention to the curved part here and the opening. And then here we can take the blades away. Okay, and we have disassembled the whole diaphragm for this lens. Now I'm going to stop the video for a few seconds. I'm going to get the elements to clean the blades and the excess oil. I have prepared what I need to do the cleaning. Most important thing I have it here is the lighter fluid, which is just to degrease. You can use also barbecue gas or gasoline, they will work just fine as well. I have here a metal cup. I avoid using plastic because I want to avoid the risk of it melting due to the gasoline or barbecue gas or lighter fluid. A cotton swab and a little bit of toilet paper. Not really much. So what we need to do is just to put the blades on the cup, put a small amount of lighter fluid. You don't need much actually. And then afterwards, so just remove the blades. Dry them with the toilet paper. And here you go, clean blades. Okay, here there's still a bit of lighter fluid, not a lot. And we do the same thing for the rest. When doing this, please be methodical. Do not rush it, because you have a small risk of bending the blade, and this is something you don't want to do. Okay, so that's it for the blades. Now with the excess of lighter fluid, what I'm going to do is with the cotton swab, I'm just going to clean the parts which were oily. Okay, here we will do also behind the bayonet, because I'm pretty sure it's a bit oily as well. Okay. Very, very generous amount of oil. Okay, just note that I avoided cleaning here because at this point you have the clicking thing, makes the sound when you do the rotation, and there you want to have, you see, this sound. There you want to have a bit of oil or grease. Otherwise, I guess the parts are going to wear out and you won't have that really nice clicking sound. Okay, also opportunity to clean the lens. Because as you can see, it is not very clean, and God knows that my friend Fred is really careful with his lenses. So as you can see, even if you are the most careful person in the universe with your lenses, they will need a clean from time to time. Okay, and then just to finish, the last oily surface just behind the bayonet. So normally what it happens is that the grease here on the helicoid is going to lose a bit of its oil, and then it goes a bit everywhere. Usually the fix is to remove the helicoid and re-grease again, but in this case the focusing is still smooth, not really hard, so we're going to leave it like that for the time being. If the focusing becomes too hard, we'll disassemble the lens and replace the grease. Okay, so this is all. We have cleaned everything. Now let me just do a bit of cleaning of my desk, and we meet for the reassembly. Okay, we are ready to reassemble the lens. It seems that we have a big mess, but do not worry, this is going to be simpler than it looks. So first thing, we put back the aperture ring, which has been cleaned. Now we put the bayonet and the Q for knowing the position is that you have this little lever here and you have an opening for that purpose, and you have the 3 screw holes that align. So here you go, we have taken care of the back of the body. Now we will get to the thing of interest, which is going to be this guy. Okay, let me just find a nice support to put it, because it has a pin on the back, so I cannot simply lie it on the table. Okay, and now we are going to put the blades. Okay, and we start here, first one. And funny thing is that almost all Nikon lenses, you have to put the blades in counterclockwise direction. So meaning you start here and then you go this way around. This lens here is clockwise, so you see I put this one, then I will put the second one in clockwise direction, and I will keep going. Okay, and then the last blade there, which is usually the most complicated one, because we need to go below the first one we put. So here we have the hole, and we need to manage to go below the first one. So I make space. For this one, and now I need to manage to get the first one to pass above. And here you go, we have assembled the blades. Now we need to put the cam, and as you remember, we have this curved opening here, which was coincident with this opening here. So we make sure we get all the pins on the cam. We make sure it works. It works quite smoothly. Now we need to put the top, and we need to make sure that the openings here are perfectly aligned, otherwise we'll get some trouble, because in the meantime I already tried that. Here you go. Here you see you can go, you can close it entirely. I do that by making sure this position here is okay, and then I can open it entirely without any trouble. And this is actually a very good diaphragm design, because you can handle it without any trouble, whereas in some lenses you will need to assemble it and it will hold just by nothing. So you need to be extremely careful when putting it back into the lens. Okay, here maybe some little trouble because we'll need to make sure we'll get into this opening here. So maybe the simplest thing to do is to remove again the bayonet. So we don't need to worry about that lever until later. So remove everything. We put the lens on a little base. Now I have the holes when it is supposed to go. Okay, and then using the holes as reference, I'm able to get it right. Just let me put the screws partially, as I explained to you in the beginning. We have still some play to do. Okay, now we can go back to the bayonet. So we get this blade, which is not doing anything because I haven't put the spring or anything yet. So then we put this guy. Okay, now we are, let's go to wide open, and we are not bad because we are near tangent to the opening. Okay, I guess my screws are a bit tight because I don't have a lot of freedom of motion. Okay, here you go. And I just get it in the position I want. Now I can tighten the screws. It closes alright. Now we put the very little spring in position. Here you go. We put the glass. So remember here it was the short screws. Okay, that should do. Then if we do it properly, we should have only 3 screws remaining. the beauty ring. Tighten it a little bit, and here you go. We have cleaned the aperture blades of a Nikkor 50mm pancake, and this is all I want to show you today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.